You know, folks, I've told listeners many, many times that we have Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, CNBC, C-SPAN on throughout the building, just in hallways. We've got televisions hooked up to different channels so we can monitor things, just standard newsroom hookup. So during the break, I go back to get a glass of water, and I'm watching CNN with retired military officers on saying, you're not allowed to protest when you're active duty in the military. And the people that are criticizing Obama and the Syria strike, they could be arrested. And we were actually able to then back it up on the DVR. We have it recorded. If I have time later, I'll play a clip of it. But the point here is, over a week and a half ago, before Obama even gave his speech and announced the strike, but when they had Kerry pushing it, we saw on Twitter and Facebook all these military people, because a lot of them were InfoWars listeners. They were sending us the photos directly to our email and saying, hey, look at my photo. I'm going public here. Please don't say my name. Because some of them have Facebooks that, they use a nom de plume or a pen name on. Some of them have gone public. We've had some of them on the show, active duty. And they're now on TV saying, you better watch it or we'll arrest you. Folks, did the German military in 1944 have a right to try to resist Hitler? Of course they did. If the president was hypothetically beating children's brains out with baseball bats on the White House lawn, would it be illegal? Well, Nixon said it wouldn't be illegal. When the president does something, it's not illegal. Of course, the courts, common law, Constitution say that's not true. The president can be arrested for misdemeanors like anybody else. Well, these are high crimes, ladies and gentlemen, high crimes and misdemeanors. You can be impeached. And then after you've been found guilty by the House and the Senate, they can have your butt clapped in irons. Any of these JAG courts could go after the globalist. But the number one thing that needs to happen, and Congressman Walter Jones is coming on this week, has introduced the legislation, is to begin impeachment proceedings on Obama. Because if they don't have the votes in the House, so they say, well, we're not going to vote now. Obama, you're allowed to attack. No, he's not. No, he's not. You're only allowed to attack if somebody's got missiles fueling and is going to fire them. Then the Congress has already given the president the authorization. That's why they said Saddam was going to attack England. Remember, in 45 minutes, if they didn't pass the war resolution? And then, of course, they passed it, and he didn't attack in 45 minutes. The difference here is that now people are seeing through this. So there's a constitutional crisis, and day by day, the awakening builds as they try to say, you're a terrorist if you criticize the government. It's unconstitutional to criticize the government. It's illegal. The founding fathers are bad. Obama truth squads will come after you if you talk bad about the dear leader. We'll arrest members of the military if they criticize this war. You keep your mouth shut. You shut your mouth. I know so many people in media, so many people in music, in film, who were all told, you don't criticize government, you don't criticize Obama, or you're going to lose your job or lose your contract. These aren't liberals. These are authoritarians. I mean, Tom Selleck, just because he was a Republican, couldn't get work anymore as soon as he went public for the Second Amendment. Same thing for Charlton Heston, who had work lined up around the block. As soon as he went public for the Second Amendment, boom, no more work. This is the reign of terror they've been involved in, and people are standing up and they're saying no. And so the system can't shut everybody down now. It is not just the right of military personnel, active duty, non-commissioned, and commissioned, to criticize an executive and to criticize their commanders when they're doing things that are patently unconstitutional and patently illegal. It is not their right. It is their absolute duty. I've read the Uniform Code. I've read the military codes. And they're all based on the Bill of Rights, Constitution, Declaration of Independence, Magna Carta, common law, folks. If someone gives you an order to commit a crime, you become just as guilty as who gave the order when you follow it. That's why the mafia, soldiers get in trouble for doing a murder, and the boss gets in trouble for ordering the murder. The Nuremberg precept is that just following orders does not make you not guilty. In fact, it makes you just as guilty. And then you have the Führer precept that came in 1933, saying the Führer is above the law. And so our government is bringing in the Führer precept, the leader precept, the king precept, the right of kings, the sovereign, where under NDAA, Obama can just say, take them away to the dungeon. And then all of his designates can spy on you without warrants or secretly arrest you or shoot you in the back for no reason or kill you during an interrogation, and nobody gets in trouble because we're getting deep down the tunnel. And our military knows the government grows the drugs and ships them in. Our military knows that the big contractors run the sex trade. Our military knows our government runs and has been training al-Qaeda for at least 2.5 years in Jordan and in Libya, and is trying to turn the Egyptian government over to al-Qaeda while they blow up dozens of churches every week. And our media calls them protesters. Our military knows about Benghazi. You've got the head State Department official, Mr. Hicks, going public. We've got that clip coming up. Gregory Hicks saying he's been threatened and told to shut up. Really? Who would have thought he'd been threatened? The other whistleblowers have disappeared, and we're told they're in the witness protection program and maybe never seen again. What, like Jimmy Hoffa? They're probably dead, ladies and gentlemen. Notice you've heard, oh, a bunch of the people involved in Benghazi, they've had their names changed. I bet they had their names changed. Hicks has been smart enough to stay public. I'll guarantee you some of them are been chopped up, folks, and fed to the fishes. Because they all know. You think you're going to just know what happened in Benghazi and not be killed? The problem is that multiple situation rooms on aircraft carriers and at NATO and at CENTCOM in Florida were all watching live Predator feeds of the 7-hour killing of the ambassador and others, and watched al-Qaeda haul all the missiles and weapons out of the 3 warehouses. I've talked to the military. It's all been seen. It's all known. The whole military knows. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. The government runs al-Qaeda. Of course they run al-Qaeda. And they run al-Qaeda, and they're going to turn Syria over to al-Qaeda. And, of course, they ordered the rebels to launch a chemical attack. Obama says, my red line is you launch a chemical attack, I'm going to bombard and invade. Then they bombard them with Turkish weapons. The Israelis have been bombing them, cruise missiles. Syria's holding on, being attacked by Turkey, Jordan, Israel, al-Qaeda troops out of Iraq, U.S. NATO Special Forces. I mean, they are just blowing up every church, massacring everyone. Just absolutely 20. And the military is sitting there giving intel and giving drone intelligence to al-Qaeda. And the truth is the military is freaking out right now because they're following orders, folks. They're in there serving al-Qaeda, who's the main force, and it is melting things down. The globalists are still in the pole position to win the race, but they've got their RPMs as high as they'll go, and the engine is rattling, about to explode, and they got 10 more laps to go, folks. Their engine, to use a NASCAR analogy, is going to blow up. The question is, what's going to happen when the engine blows on this? They'll probably stage a big, new, giant false flag. Or blow something up and, say Assad did it, and it'll be so horrible they'll use that as the excuse to clamp down. Because here's what I realized this morning. We're going to come back and play some key clips and have a guest coming on. I realized they know everybody's awake. They just have to have the confidence game of saying, we never said there was a red line. Or, of course we need boots on the ground. We never said there wouldn't be boots on the ground. They're lying day by day now, and they don't even care. They're just going to go ahead with all this. It doesn't matter if they're getting 500-plus calls to 1 in Congress. It doesn't matter if everybody's against it, left, right, and center. This is part of the plan, and they may even want to start World War III as the false flag to totally take over. Got to break a few eggs to make a world government omelet. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the most important time of our lives.
Everything we said came true. Everything we've done's been right.
We have loaded phone lines from folks calling in from all over the United States and worldwide. Your calls are coming up. John B. Wells, syndicated talk show host and internationally known voiceover talent as well for a lot of big movies and TV shows out there. A very informative, intelligent political brain will be riding shotgun with us in the entire next hour. And he'll join us at the last few minutes of this hour to give us his take on what's happening and to give us a breakdown of what he wants to cover coming up, interspersed with your phone calls. But I noticed, I was on Google News, and I saw one of the big liberal websites, I'm not going to give it a plug, attacking me and saying I'm crazy, saying that the rebels clearly launched the chemical attack to blame Assad, when you've got major governments saying that, and they call me a tinfoil hat wearer. That doesn't work anymore. You people sit up there and you defend tyranny, and then there's all these comments by Democrats saying horrible things about me and how I'm a dumb Republican and all this stuff. This isn't about Republican or Democrat. I opposed the Iraq War. I opposed the upping of this situation in other areas of the world like Afghanistan. I'm a constitutionalist. I want peace if we're not attacked first. I want truth and justice. And when you look at Obama supporters particularly, I've never seen a group of people that are more tribal, that are more groupthink, that are more cult-like in their absolute fealty to Obama. And so, okay, fine, give him another Peace Prize then. Because during the break, I was in another part of the office and Fox News was on. And it was like a big victory for the rebels. They've taken the great Christian city of such and such, and it showed them blowing up the churches. And then I walked in and CNN was praising it, saying, big victory for the rebels. They've taken the Christian city of, and now Europe, the Christians are fleeing and are begging for to be able to escape to Europe, but that probably won't be allowed. And the host looked all satisfied, like, tonight we'll feast on Christian flesh. It reminded me of like Sauron or something, or Saruman in The Lord of the Rings, saying, tonight you will feast on man flesh. I mean, it's just like, you really get an idea of how the authoritarian left really, anywhere they're Christians, they're happy to blow it sky high. I mean, they want to get rid of Christians. These are freaks. These are, I mean, it was really hitting me what authoritarian trash these people are. And the next time I'm flying and some TSA's like, where are you going? What you doing? You planning something? I'm going to go, oh, this is your behavioral analysis training? You mean for the government that runs Al-Qaeda? In fact, I did that when I flew back from England. They were asking me all sorts of questions, and I went, you know the government ships in the drugs, and you know the government runs the terrorists. And the lady went, I know. You can go. And then there was another guy I had to go to, and I gave him the same speech. Then I had to go back through TSA again to get on a plane from Dallas to Austin. And they were going, what you doing? Where you going? I go, man, knock it off. The government runs all the terrorists. They're like, oh, sir, going through. And I'm like, yeah, it's all fiction. And people are like, come on, buddy, don't cause a problem. I'm like, cause a problem? This country's going into tyranny. I'm not joking. Leanne McAdoo was with me when I get her on there to tell the story. I mean, I'm not putting up with this hoax anymore, folks. This whole thing of Americans could be terrorists and the founding fathers are bad and veterans are the #1 threat. I thought all this was set up for Al-Qaeda. Oh, you run them. This is just a big power grab. And see, people get that now. And the establishment has miscalculated how dumb they thought the American people were.
Now you can watch the InfoWars Nightly News streaming live as it happens for free.
Check it out at Infowars.com/show.
I go back to a glass of water, and I'm watching CNN with retired military officers on saying you're not allowed to protest when you're active duty in the military. And the people that are criticizing Obama and the Syria strike, they could be arrested. And we were actually able to then back it up on the DVR. We have photo, I'm going public here. Please don't say my name. Because some of them have Facebooks that, they use a nom de plume or a pen name on. Some of them have gone public. We've had some of them on the show, active duty. And they're now on TV saying, you better watch it or we'll arrest you. Folks, did the German military in 1944 have a right to try to resist Hitler? Of course they did. If the president was hypothetically beating children's brains out with baseball bats on the White House lawn, would it be illegal? Well, Nixon said it wouldn't be illegal. When the president does something, it's not illegal. Of course, the courts, common law, Constitution say that's not true. The president can have it recorded. If I have time later, I'll play a clip of it. But the point here is, over a week and a half ago, before Obama even gave his speech and announced the strike, but when they had Kerry pushing it, we saw on Twitter and Facebook all these military people, because a lot of them were InfoWars listeners. They were sending us the photos directly to our email and saying, hey, look at my... You know, folks, I've told listeners many, many times that we have Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, CNBC, C-SPAN on throughout the building, just in hallways. We've got televisions hooked up to different channels so we can monitor things, just standard newsroom hookup. So during the break,